Welcome into Blockchain Basement. On today's episode, we're going to talk about AI, crypto, Bitcoin, maybe even an AI meme coin secret that could be one of the most explosive coins in the near future. All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're going to screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What do you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're going to get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we...
All right, welcome into Blockchain Basement. We're going to have a really good time for you guys today. Watch out for Hannah. She's saying in that intro, she's going to cut off your fingers to get your seed phrases. You better stay on guard. We've got the one and only Top D, DZ, just wrapping up the BitBoy crypto morning live stream. I guess we're gonna get sick of each other if we keep doing back-to-back shows together. But
are you a guest on ATB today?
No, hopefully not. That'd be three in a row. That's a little too much DZ for me. I love him, but all day, every day, that's a lot.
Wait, we're not commuting home tonight?
Yeah, actually, I'm planning to stay at your house this weekend,
Decker,
by the way.
I need to borrow.
Yeah. Also, of course, Hannah Hughes, Decker, the data man, and AJ on the board instead of BJ. BJ, Biscuit Jesus, is with us in spirit. He's in the interwebs. He's in the code. He might be in the chat as well. So if you guys are in the chat, please, real early, smash those like buttons. Let's get this video out there for all the other Bitcoin and crypto lovers of the world, so we can have this peaceful revolution and change the world and make it better for ourselves, our children, and our families. So yeah, we really appreciate it if you guys can do that. And a huge shout out to all of you. You guys are what make the show great. We've got Crypto Naughty, Crypto Stevo, one of my favorite, Gary's Guggler, Hudson Hancock, Rand Stan Miguel, Justin Eubanks, Ryan Schuetz, Paper Hands, Moonboy. We've got Crypto Tononic, Pooin78 Div, Battletoads 93, Casino Doggy, Manawak, Rug Gang, Mr. Techno Goody, Chemistry Bro, Chef Crypto, there's the Biscuit Jesus, he hath arrived, Trucker Crypto, Casino Doggy, and many, many more. We love all of you guys. Love it when you guys chat with us. Throw any of your questions in there. We will do our best to answer as many questions as we can as we're going through. Please don't be afraid. Oh, and yeah, for lunch today, we're having a solid turkey and chicken sandwich.
Mustard, not mayo. Eh?
Mustard, no mayo. No mayo. I'm a completely no mayo guy. Don't touch anything with mayo in it. It's an absolutely disgusting substance. So that's my thoughts on that. So hot take.
Wait,
yeah.
but isn't chicken salad just like mayonnaise? And
Some
cheese?
chicken salad, yes, many chicken salads do have a lot of mayonnaise in it. I do eat chicken salad a lot. It's right on the verge of what like some of them aren't mayonnaise based. Some of them can be mustard based. You can use other things to bind it. That one does have a little bit of mayonnaise in it. It's right on the line. But pretty much avoid any white based sauce in general. So, do with that as you will. So, yeah, on today. So we've been talking a lot about gold the last few days. So I saw this article by one of our favorite tweeters here, Genevieve Roche Decter, GR Decter. But this was just an interesting thing. I wanted to kind of get us up to speed on kind of we were talking about this earlier, DZ, with Russian retail citizens, how much crypto they've been buying versus gold. But we've got gold is less than 2% away from hitting its all-time high. My brother's been a big fan of trying to get me to buy some more gold. And we do know when things break all-time high, they go into what's called price discovery, which oftentimes is a good time to purchase a new asset. Crick Krat says he's also bearish on mayo. Welcome to the club, buddy. And we are not alone.
What about the mayonnaise in the brownies? Mayonnaise and brownies? What?
Maybe it's like you know how they put cream cheese and
I've
stuff
heard
to
of
make it.
Sour cream, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
I love mayonnaise.
I'm out on all of that. I'm out on all of it. No questions asked.
All right.
So, all right, here we go. So gold surged past $2,000 an ounce yesterday, and it's close to matching the all-time high of $2,075 an ounce. Why is gold in such high demand? There's confluence of events that's benefiting gold right now. Central banks purchasing gold. Individual investors are seeking safe havens from the uncertainty of equity markets. So let's see. People's Bank of China increasing its gold holdings by 25 tons in February. Let's look at some of this. OPEC flexing power in the oil market. Middle East is realigning. Saudi Arabia continues to strengthen. So this is all the stuff we've been talking about the last couple weeks that have been going on here, and gold obviously becoming more relevant. DZ mentioned is it April 6, 1933 is the anniversary of when the United States banned gold for its citizens and made all U.S. citizens come back and return their gold to the vaults. So that way, basically made it illegal to hold gold as a U.S. citizen. So yields have dropped dramatically over the last month or so, which has been a short-term catalyst for gold. As investors move out of treasuries, many choose to put these newly available funds into gold. Relationship and its inverse plays out all the time in the gold market. In February, as yields increased, money flowed out of gold ETFs. March, that trend reversed. The price of gold increased more than 7% as treasury yields fell dramatically. So we're seeing not only people starting to diversify into other currencies for trade. We saw that as a boost for Bitcoin. We are seeing it as a boost for gold. Decker, let me ask you that, because I know we see a lot of different takes on gold. My biggest thing on it is the portability and the actual, but if you're using it for store value and you're only using a little bit of it, you can make a pretty strong case for it. I'm as it's approaching all-time high, I'm actually getting more interested in it than when it was suppressed. I don't really like. My brother's a big believer in a total it's not reevaluation. What is it? Basically repricing it. Maybe it is reevaluation. There's an actual term for it though. It's slipping my mind right now. Like when an asset gets repriced, basically.
Like a restructuring of the price. I kind of wanted.
Yeah, there is a term
some
for
on
it.
the
It's
tip of
like
my tongue as well.
when a currency like realigns with where it should be, basically, instead of it being suppressed. And it could happen once they start to, like, once it breaks an all-time high. I still don't think it has more upside than Bitcoin, in my opinion. But somebody like you're young, you know, you're an investor, you're familiar with stocks, you're familiar with the value of precious metals and all that sort of stuff. Like, seeing gold break an all-time high, does it pull you towards looking at gold in any way, or is it completely uninteresting?
Well, for me, short answer, yes. It does interest me. It piques my interest for sure. To be honest, I didn't know about, the fact that it broke. I've always thought of gold per ounce as like 1,600, 1,800 my whole life, right? So seeing this is quite substantial. For me, though, I mean, one thing I do like about gold, just like I like about Bitcoin and real estate, these are hard assets we like to talk about. Finite. Yes, you can mine it on asteroids, but we're not there yet, And so, yes, I like it in that capacity. And if I were to buy it, I'd probably buy physical gold. However, my caveat is right now, in this time, like you just said, I feel like I just rather would put my dollars in another hard asset that I prefer, aka Bitcoin and crypto. And so, yes, I love silver. I see people calling out silver, gold.
It's all over your hands.
I know, right? It's a great place. I'm not saying it's bad, but I just feel like there's a better upside for your money. You're losing out on the opportunity cost if you're dumping too much money into gold. But if you have a lot of crypto already, it's definitely a great diversification strategy, especially with that and real estate, again, like we've talked about a lot.
Well, let me say this about gold. So gold, I don't know what it is right now, but $2,000, 2036 is previous all-time high, 2075. You look at a 2% pump, we're at all-time highs. Silver has much more room to the upside to reach a previous all-time high. And oftentimes silver acts like the Ethereum to Bitcoin. It'll move a little bit later. It's not, it's more easily manipulated because it is a smaller market cap. And so I would maybe keep an eye out on the silver gold ratios. What is the ratio of silver to gold historically? And what is it right now? And then maybe look at previous price spikes with gold and see what silver did. So if I were to buy something right now and it was going to be a metal, I would buy like a pound of silver.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting. I lean more towards something in price discovery, just because I understand what you're saying, where silver has more room to get back to its previous all-time high. Manawak asking if that, which I don't know, AI Shib CEO if that was the meme coin I was talking about. No, it's not. I will say the word AI is in it, and I would be shocked if anybody guesses it. I'm pretty sure the market cap's like 400K. So this is about as degen as you get when you're talking about meme coins. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show, probably middle to end. So
Manawag also asked a second ago. He said, "When you buy gold with capital gains, is it taxable?"
Well,
I mean, go ahead, Decker.
If it's in crypto, so if you technically there is a taxable event if you purchase something with crypto. Let's say you bought Bitcoin at $1,000 and then now you decide to buy a Tesla with it or gold. The value, let's say you buy a $70,000 Tesla with one Bitcoin, let's just say, right? When you buy and purchase that, your cost basis of the Bitcoin is $1,000. The fair market value at the time of the event would be $70,000. Let's just say when you buy the Tesla, so you're taxed on $69,000. Technically, you're taxed on $69,000 of capital gains. So it depends your cost basis of what you're purchasing with it. So if your cost basis of Bitcoin is in if you're down on your Bitcoin and you put it into gold, you can actually take a capital loss on that. And so you can actually benefit it on both ways. Not to get too technical, but yes, it just depends your cost basis of what you're purchasing with.
Yeah, in short, basically the taxable event is when you're converting from Bitcoin to whatever asset you're using to make the purchase. Now, if you aren't having to make that conversion, like for the example you're making, you actually can buy a Bitcoin with Tesla. You would still, you can buy Tesla with Bitcoin. It is basically what he's just saying is they do the math. Okay, the value that you're purchasing is this. The value, your cost basis is whatever you got it at, and the difference is where you're getting that.
What's the best place?
Now, we are not tax experts.
Yes, absolutely not.
Not at all.
What is the best place to buy gold? Just look at gold, silver dealers in your area, and then also look at pawn shops, and then ask them over the phone, hey, spot price is $2,000. What do you charge me? They might add $20 tax, $40 tax, a 1% tax. Shop around and get the best rate.
Okay, so I have a question about this too, because I haven't done like a bunch of research on gold and silver or anything. So if I'm saying anything ignorant,
No, go ahead.
but I was watching a documentary and I wish I could remember exactly what it was. It might have been the Madoff on Netflix, and they were talking about gold and how like banks, like the big banks, own a bunch of gold. So I know you can buy it like digital, right? Like
Paper.
So they were saying like the people that own that, they probably don't have all of that gold like physically.
Yep.
Like, so why would I be interested in buying it if like there's no actual supply? Like if the supply isn't actually there.
No, that's a great question. And go ahead, DZ. You had an answer for that?
Well, I was going to say that's a bullish scenario. And so you have 10 pounds of gold, but that bank has sold 11 pounds of gold via paper. And so you could say, well, that seems kind of bad, right? But what if all 11 people said, you know what? I want to turn that paper into the metal. That would create a price spike because that bank that has 10 would then have to buy the 11th pound from someone else. And that person also has people cashing in and they have to buy from someone else. And then next thing you know, with Bitcoin, you might see something like, why is Coinbase buying Bitcoin from Binance? And then Binance just bought it from OKX. All of this is driving the price up. So it isn't good that they sell more than they have. But if people woke up and demanded the physical gold, it would be a great thing.
And
The
to your
value.
point, why would you would never want to hold paper representation of gold. You wouldn't want to buy something that says, I have rights to this much gold. You'd want it, like he said,
Buy
go to your local
physical
pawn
gold.
shop where you're actually getting it physically for yourself. And you can hold, you're the one who actually has the real stuff, not just the paper gold.
Yeah.
Because to his point, at some point, some of that paper gold gets called
And
home.
if you zoom out on that chart, though, the percentage of gold that is held via paper and via physical, I'm assuming after the 08 banking crisis and after the current banking crisis, that trends up. So maybe at one point, only 10% of people actually held it physically. I think the next year will be 11%, then 12%, then 15%. So that would be I don't think we go in the opposite direction when it comes to gold ownership. I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there more Drews being born or less Drews? Who knows?
Less Drews.
yeah, it's I would say less. I think
Well,
you're talking retail, or are you talking like
Well, the Drews are the only ones having kids anymore.
That's true. That is true. So I'm going to give a couple more stats here just because I wanted to, I forgot how many there were, but there's some good stuff about the central banks. So I was reading that. Okay. So central banks bought almost, 1,100 and change tons of gold in 2022. Emerging economies were the main buyers, which was interesting. Purchases predicted to fall next year, but they didn't. They actually went up in 2023, I believe. Total global demand is highest since 2011. So along with many developing countries, China is cutting its U.S. Treasury holdings. We already knew this, and it's loading up on gold. So you can see China's holding of basically, here we go, U.S. Treasuries just absolutely falling off a cliff. They're using that same money to buy gold. So here we go. Here's a decent chart. So here in 2022, central banks bought the X amount of gold, which I just read. It's the highest level of net purchases since 1950.
Ooh.
So you can see this goes all the way back to 1950. So here's what central banks were buying basically in the green. This is when they were net buyers here, basically from the 50s until the 70s. They were buying up. Oh, hey, wait a minute. Right before the 1970s, all of a sudden they started selling all their gold. We were, this is war times. We were selling the gold probably to make a lot of war stuff. And then right in this range here is when a lot of the world started to say, wait a minute, this is when the dollar was supposed to be backed by gold. And then the leader of France at the time says, wait a minute, you've issued a lot of these dollars. We want to trade all our dollars in for gold because we don't think you actually have as much gold as you're claiming, which was kind of Hannah's point just now. And then when they did that, basically that's when the U.S. government freaked out, took the dollar off the gold standard, made people basically just trade worthless paper at that point. And they said, no more gold standard. The dollar's no longer backed by gold. It's no longer going to be interchangeable with gold at a set fixed rate. And then at that point, what's the upside for holding gold, right? You just sell. You don't need it because nothing's, you can sell it, download it, and wasn't until oh, you guys can't see it. Can you, do you know the button to pull that box off the screen?
One sec.
There's something that will get rid of me so they can see the numbers at the bottom. If not, I can probably
Hold on.
zoom this out even more. Nope.
I don't
It's
know.
all right. It's
I'm
all right. Don't worry
sorry.
about it. No, just I will just do this and scoot it down. And you guys can't really see, but this is 2010 right here. which is the previous, but 2008, 2009 was 09, 10 depends on how you kind of slice it, but really between 2008 and 2010 was the last financial crisis, and from that, hey, there it is, and then from that point on, central banks have just been loading up, even as much as they were back here. But you can see like this number here, what they did in 2022 compared to everything else is just astronomically higher. So clearly the big banks are hoarding gold right now, and there's probably a reason. They continue to buy up gold in 2023 with yields expected to fall over the next few years in many countries, reducing reliance on the US dollar. Gold may be one of the best places for central banks to park funds. This is one of the most attractive stores of value for central banks. The dollar is losing favor, yields are falling, so bond treasuries aren't ideal. Central banks are usually pretty limited in what they can invest in, so gold is one of the few attractive options. So there you go. I agree with this 100%. It's interesting. I still agree with what Decker was saying. I still and DZ more upside on something like Bitcoin. I do feel like gold has been the perennial asset for store of value when you want to have something outside of state control. Like they're saying, when you're a central bank, your only option is either really holding government, not your only option, but your main option is holding government treasuries or holding, commodities, something like gold. Gold stands outside of direct political manipulation. Now there's some indirect, trade manipulation there, but long story short, central banks are buying a lot of gold. Probably bullish for gold. But again, if gold, put it this way, gold's been, I think, like you were saying, Decker, like between 16, 17, 18, but basically between 1600 and 2000, roughly most of my lifetime, and really bullish for gold might be going from 2000 to 2200, maybe, I don't know, 2500. Yeah. I don't know what it could possibly do, but still, if you're seeing Bitcoin as the next closest competitor to gold as a non-state supported store of value, and just like DZ was saying, there's a lot of room for silver to make up on gold. There's a lot of room for Bitcoin to make up on gold on that market cap level. Oh, yeah. So
I will say this though, I think more and more sovereign nations are going to be buying Bitcoin and gold generally over US dollars or Chinese yuan, and I blame America's with one keystroke, we stole billions of digital dollars from Russia. And so I feel like a lot of nations are going to say, oh, we do, one thing to peeve you off, you're just going to, hit delete on our funds. That doesn't seem like a good thing. And so I see more and more people just getting more Bitcoin and gold.
I agree. And that's why I don't think we're going to see another fiat world reserve currency after. Like everybody's so afraid of like, oh, China, the digital yuan. I do not think most nations of the world are going to put themselves in that position with another superpower where they can do exactly what DZ
it's no longer described. Paper, Yeah. And like Saddam Hussein, he had hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars of cash. They had pallets of cash. Sure, you could say some sort of thing like, oh, well, we're gonna delete the we know the what notes they are, and we're tracking those dollars, and don't worry, it won't make its way in the system. Bull crap. They'll just go to some other nation where they don't care about that, where a dollar equals a dollar equals a dollar.
HSBC, let's go.
Yeah,
that's where they go.
as we get rid of paper, they're going to be less likely to want to hold dollars because we could just delete their account.
Yeah.
Crypto Naughty, yes, Russia does have a lot of gold. Still nothing close to what the United States has, at least according to public records. We looked at that yesterday. BRICS nations, not even close. All of them combined, still less than the United States, at least from what we know. You have
yes question. Question for everybody, you guys. Do you know if El Salvador is still doing that Bitcoin a day thing? Remember the president? He said he tweeted at Bitcoin
a day.
Yeah,
they're buying, but I don't know if they're buying a Bitcoin a day.
I could have sworn that was a thing. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I could have sworn he says from now on we're going to buy a Bitcoin a day. But I'll look at it. We could talk about other stuff.
Yeah. So November 17, 2022, the president said 1 Bitcoin a day, but I don't know if they're still doing that. This is from November.
Yeah, that'd be shocking if he was.
From November 2022, right?
Yes, November 17th.
That was the bottom, right? November 2022.
Basically.
Yeah, that was pretty much dead bottom. I think it was 16th or 17th. If it wasn't, I don't know. We'll have to go look. So, all right, real quick. I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's just government being dumb again, which I feel like is all we talk about. But saving you clicks. The case for banning crypto is, this is, we're going to look at this in just a second. It's kind of the big story.
We should get Ryan Selkis on. I believe he's running for U.S. Senate.
I would That was a.
He was joking.
Yeah, it was April Fool's.
He was just being pissed.
But he did reply. He's like, he got so many positive responses to that he might even consider it. But I love Ryan.
He's been
Selkis.
floating it for a year, I feel like, at this point.
It's just you open yourself up to so much.
Oh, yeah, skeletons.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know if he has skeletons, but
no, you're saying he has a dark past.
No, I'm not saying that.
I really
That's
like
what you
Ryan.
said, TJ.
Hey, Ted Kennedy killed a woman, that didn't report it and drove away from the scene of a crime. That is a fact, right?
Wow.
That's not it's not a hearsay. And so I believe in Ryan's ability.
I believe in him too. I hope we need people like him trying to make a difference. So he gives us the breakdown. Basically, U.S. Treasury warns DeFi is used by North Korea scammers, launder money. Basically saying DeFi bad, only used by criminals and scammers. So basically, he just gives you the TLDR, saving you some clicks and some time. The case for banning crypto is written by a career academic with a hatred for the industry. The crypto people aren't paying taxes is published weeks before the tax deadlines after a year in which most people lost money. Don't let the stupid drag you down. Meaning, like a lot of people are filing taxes because you actually make money back on your, registering losses there. So, we can skim through this. It is the big story. DeFi services that aren't compliant with anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules pose the most significant current illicit financial risks. So basically, they use, if you hear of KYC, AML laws, it's anti-money laundering laws, and you do it under the guise. This is kind of like the Patriot Act. Like, oh, we're doing it to stop terrorism funding and stop. Basically, when they say that, they're saying stop funding for anything we feel like we don't think should be existing, which might be your business, and there might be nothing wrong with it at all. And in fact, almost most businesses that run on blockchain and crypto are all generally trying to do something good. Now, there's some bad actors in the space, but far and away, research report after research report has shown 98% plus of the transactions on blockchain are legitimate transactions. There's some fraudulent activity on there, but very little, because it's very hard to get away with, because it's all right there. It's immutable. It's there forever. There is no statute. It's not going to disappear. It's just there for people to go find. So this is all, it's a 40-page report, basically a 40-page waste of time that warns that DeFi services at the present often do not implement AML, CFT, or CFT controls. What is CFT? Counterfeiting, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Processes to identify customers, allowing layering of proceeds to take instantaneously and pseudonymously. Basically, they don't want people to have free, unmonitored private transactions.
Isn't that the point? Yeah, the point is it's like the point is for it to be instantaneous and pseudo-anonymous.
Exactly. That's the entire design.
So CFT is countering the finance of terrorism.
Okay, counterterrorism finance. Yep. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Well, to be intellectually honest, DeFi does give terrorists an exit strategy, right? You hack something, you take down a power grid. You can use DeFi and the Tornado network to abscond with millions of dollars, and that is a bad thing. And I think it's good for us to be intellectually honest about it. But the way I look at this is it's like pointing at a knife. I saw TJ wield a knife just before the show. You know what he did? He sliced a sandwich in half. He put some mustard on the bread.
Yeah.
It was a tool. And so DeFi is a tool 99.99% of the time. But, we can't just say, oh, it never happens.
No.
And I'm not saying you're saying that, but I do feel like you kind of get that vibe like, oh, it's never used. Let's just be honest. It is used for nefarious activities.
Well, that's my frustration is they're not intellectual honest. If they were, they would say, far and away, 98% of all terrorism financing is running through the traditional finance system that exists today, running through banks, running through the dollar. And they're not saying, oh, the dollar is a systemic threat to our national security, or HSBC or Chase Manhattan,
Yeah, you could zoom out and say, man, all these criminals are breathing oxygen. There's one, thing linking them all together. It's like, how far do you want to zoom out and, point at a tool?
Criminals existed before blockchain technology.
Right. Well, that's the point I'm making. They're acting like this new evolution of payment rails is making terrorism worse. It's not. It's if anything, it gives. What does the little TJ?
My little TJ
shirts? Oh, on the bobblehead. No, it says here. Can you read that? It says Hit Network. You can't read it, but you can kind of see the logo there. It's gonna blur out.
Baller.
But, yeah, almost all terrorism activity is done through the dollar. Why? Because the dollar is the main currency of the world. So they're not attacking the tool of the dollar for it, but they are going to attack some of these things. So yes, it does give privacy. I think privacy is a core right, can be used for good or negative purposes. But they're gonna attack DeFi hard, bottom line, and they're not stopping. And it's coming from people that A, have never really used it. B, they've been trained their entire life to academically destroy things that oppose the system that kind of put them in place. And that's what I see happening a lot with the U.S. government as it relates to the dollar. So
can I say one thing about this before
sure.
we move on?
No, go ahead.
Because I just retweeted something like 2 days ago from James Crypto Guru. I saw y'all follow him too, but he said the world attacks people who are creating world-changing things with regulation and politics. We as a collective need to not make the same mistakes like with Nikola Tesla, Galileo, Leonardo da Vinci, Jesus Christ, which is, take it for what you will. But I was watching something about Nikola Tesla the other day too, and I was relating everything that I was hearing to everything that has been going on in crypto recently, like all of the FUD and the news lines that are just meant to scare people and make you think that like crypto is bad and DeFi is bad. Nikola Tesla invented the electricity that we use today, the alternating current. And when he came out with it, people like Henry Ford were trying to tell everybody that it was bad. Like they were like electrocuting animals and like doing all these crazy things. And it's like they're pushing it down just because it's something that they didn't invent. They want to have control over it.
100%. There was big money funded FUD campaigns against Nikola Tesla because part of his vision, yes, he invented alternating current, he invented all sorts of stuff. He also had a vision for free power for retail people, a way that way each person wasn't having to pay, and the people that were funding all of his research. Now that's the double-edged sword of investors. Basically, the people that were funding his research found out that he was planning to give away that, trying to make open source it in today's language. And they actually ran the campaign against him themselves. They funded the other side to FUD him so that way they could maintain control, as Hannah.
Now,
and they wanted to capitalize.
I was going to say, I didn't hear anything incorrect, but you do also have to be intellectually honest. When you look at Nikola Tesla stuff, you'll often see his bad ideas presented as these good things, and you got to be careful. Like you'll see the picture where he had this idea where electricity was going to flow, and street lights were just going to work, and that technology exists today, and they suppressed it, and you're like, yeah. Then you dig into it, and you're like, oh, it's the same technology behind radio, like an antenna. That's a little bit of power hitting your FM antenna, your AM antenna. Now, we don't think of, all right, there's radio waves in the air, meaning you pull open an antenna, electrons are floating through the air, through your body, and it's enough to power the rock station. You don't want enough power floating through the air to power a light bulb. That would probably be a bad thing. All the people concerned about 5G waves, well, imagine if it was enough to light up Christmas trees, or if it was enough to light up your kitchen lights. That's a lot of weird, and I'm not BJ. BJ's probably furious right now. That's a lot of weird electrons or particles passing through the air, but then they'll present it as like, oh yeah, they suppressed it. It was this good thing he invented. You got to be careful with the Nikola Tesla Facebook articles, websites. There's a lot of bull crap about him, similar to like when you see like this technology was hidden and it was going to change the world. You do a little digging and you're like, oh, it just doesn't make sense, like by the laws of physics.
Well, and a lot of it is speculation. So you got to remember, I don't know what the timeline that he was in, and some people would probably argue, hey, if some of these theories were put, researched and tested and experimented and played with, we could have adapted and done X, Y, and that's kind of the argument with electric cars.
Yeah, they
right
electrocuted an elephant, killed an elephant.
Well, no, I'm
with
just
electricity.
saying. Yeah,
no,
I'm just saying it's a different time. Yeah, they did.
DZ's hairline. What the hell? I'm kidding. I didn't even read the name.
Yeah, he's been in the chat for a while. One of our favorite basement dwellers. Snail says 420 in the chat. So if there's you guys know the like goal every day for right now is 420. If we're at like 100 and something right now with 420 in the chat, if everybody stops what you're doing real quick, smashes that like button. Then we will hit that 420 goal, and it's just an arbitrary number, no real reason. We just like to shoot for that. So until we can shoot for 4,200 people concurrent, which is a little ways away, but soon. We'll take the 420.
We currently do have 420 concurrent viewers.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
420 concurrent viewers in the chat. So we love all of you guys. I'm gonna try to speed us up here. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good thread from another one of my favorites here, and I'll just retweet this so you guys can go look at it on your own time, but. The consumer underlies the inflation and growth cycles of the economy. The health of consumer is a function of three major components. And this is something to keep in mind when you're trying to judge the health of economy. There's all sorts of depth, all sorts of numbers. You got to dig in for yourself, figure out if you trust them, if you think they're any good, if they're a lot of them are manipulated to produce the results they want. But the main three things people are looking at when it comes to consumer health: housing, savings, income. This whole thread goes over the outlook of the U.S. and its implications for the economic outlook. I'm going to keep it brief because I want to move through quite a few other things and get to that meme coin that I know you guys want to hear about. Not saying we should all go buy it, but if you got, I don't know. Well, we'll save that for when we get there. But housing right now, not looking great. Mortgage prices going up. Leading indicators point to further weakening in the coming months for mortgage affordability going down the gutter. You can see here, this is observed in the slowing demand for home sales, which has quite literally fallen off a cliff. This is going to be very interesting to watch how this develops with the high interest rates. It means nobody's selling, but also nobody's buying right now. So savings, excess savings has provided a strong cushion to consumers' wallets, built up to over $2 trillion during the following aggressive monetary and financial measure in 2020. This is one of the main reasons that retail spending has held up so well and inflation has remained so sticky despite the tightening monetary conditions. The marginal consumer had cushion and lots of it, but that excess is being drawn down and estimated to run out in H2 2023. So let's see if we can see here. Accumulated excess savings is here. The trend pre-COVID savings, recent trend. So look, it was trending. Huge spike. This is just everybody getting free money. This is the people. Basically, these are the people that had $2,000 in their savings account, got $2,000 from the government or $6,000 from the government or whatever, depending on how many kids you had. And then boom, all of a sudden your savings account tripled. Then it took you about a year to blow through all that stuff. Here's another subsidy probably. Then another year to blow through all of that. And now we're trending way below. Now we're trending not only lower than this, but it's not looking good. It's trending down very quickly.
Question for you, TJ, and
Sure.
for the chat in general. Does lifestyle creep play into that at all, in your opinion? And lifestyle creep to me is when you start enhancing your way of life, and then if things tighten, you don't reverse. So that might be 10 years ago, no one did Uber Eats. No one ordered,
Sure.
to-go food. And now, like, okay, we used to go to the restaurant, we pay $20. Well, now inflation, obviously, the meat costs more and all this other stuff. But now I'm paying an extra tax, a delivery fee, of this, and my $20 meal costs $32.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that is from a lifestyle creep?
I do think that plays a factor into it. I think I could describe it more as like the whole consumerism mindset of the way our generation thinks, in the sense of like a lot of this stuff didn't, like you said, didn't exist. You get used to doing it. We haven't been conditioned to tighten the belt ever, at least as a generation in our country, the United States. For the most part, it's expend more, consume more, just put it on credit, so they're going to push you to put it on a credit card and continue the current lifestyle that you have rather than pulling back. So, but I think that's a huge problem. Whether you call it lifestyle creep or consumerism or whatever it is, people here in the United States do not know how to live below their means for the most part. Some might be able to live within their means, but if you can see, this is very different, obviously, for a lot of you guys in the chat and a lot of us in this building here, we could see a trend coming and say, you know what? I need to be prepared for that. I'm going to just start tightening up right now. I would be very willing to wager our employees have a much higher percentage savings than the average US citizen, because we know how to delay gratification. We have more of an investment mindset. We're looking at store values like Bitcoin and sort of that.
Yeah, bear market participants. Then it's the exact opposite at bull market peaks.
I'm just
kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But I think it has something to do with it. Decker, Hannah, what do you guys think when it comes to lifestyle creep? Do you think people know how to tighten up, or not so much? Is that what you meant, more or less?
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking, another example might be you're looking at streaming sites. I feel like 7 years ago, our budget for streaming sites was, pretty finite, including cable, Time Warner or whatever. And now it's like, all right, I have 7 apps. And I'm paying like $10 a piece for all of them.
That's a good point too, because people used to be cutting cable to get these streaming services because it was cheaper, but now over time,
I only paid $9 a month for Netflix.
Yeah.
That's it. I went from 80 to 8.
Now they're paying the same price for the streaming
Now they're back to
services
80.
as they were for cable. So I think a lot of people don't know how to live below their means, and they just don't. They choose not to. But a lot of people, it's like difficult for them too. So a lot of people are just kind of living
But
right
in
now.
my opinion, if we didn't have such bad erosion of the dollar's buying power, there wouldn't be as much need to make more and more and more and more to keep up. You should be able to maintain a fairly standard level of living where, you know, you don't eat out every night. You know, if you have a family of 4, you should be able to go to work and work a general job, take care of your family, pay your bills, maybe go out to eat every once in a while, and live a reasonable life at a, you know, for a reasonable rate. And you might have been doing that for 4 or 5 years, and now all of a sudden you got to make more and more and more and more. So you're either cutting or adding. You're either spending less or making more. In my experience, generally speaking, if like say you're running maybe you're making $60,000 and you're realizing to do the budget you want to do, you need an $80,000, you know, nut to cover everything you need to do. It's way easier to go out, figure out a way to make that extra 20 grand than it is to figure out a way to cut your expenses 20 grand when you're already living pretty tight. So I'm a big believer in there's a lot of abundance out there. Go figure out how to make more rather than cutting less, but you still need to be responsible. Don't be stupid, be a good steward, that sort of stuff. So, but it's really, I mean, it really comes down to discipline in general, you know, mental discipline, financial discipline, consistency, having a plan. A lot of the stuff that we talk about on this show, you know, it all builds over time. You start having a savings plan, an investing plan. You're going to start looking at what you're spending on your coffee, on going to movies, on your food, all that sort of stuff. And it does stack up in normal places. So this is, here's a little bit of just what's going on in Paris. We've shown this in the past. So this is just outside of BlackRock's headquarters in Paris, you know, major riots going on out there. And I do feel like people like BlackRock are largely responsible for the inflation and the stuff that we're feeling. I mean, the more and more I look at, and guess who's going to own guess who owns pretty much all the gold right now? It's people like this. Guess who's pretty much going to own all the Bitcoin? It's also people like, when I look at Bitcoin companies, like equity in the largest, strongest Bitcoin companies, it's time and time and time again. It's BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley. And it just, like I looked at it today, Square, people were asking about Square or Cash App, which is Block Inc. Probably one of the best competing payment providers right now. The Stripe, you know, the Square Reader, you know, Cash App, a lot of people know, started by Jack Dorsey. Great place to buy Bitcoin. Guess who owns it? BlackRock, Vanguard, Morgan Stanley, you know, guess who owns MicroStrategy? Guess who owns Coinbase? Guess who owns Grayscale? I mean, you just keep going and going and going, and it's the same 4 or 5 people over and over. What do you got?
I know we've already talked about this, and guess who just passed away in San Francisco this week? You know, it all gets kind of muddy. It's like, was that really an accident? And it's all these when there's literally trillions of dollars at risk, the stakes are so different. It's so crazy. And
this is a little bit of why we're running into the problem we are. It's debt. It's all debt based, and what they're doing is they're rolling up more and more debt, and then they're restructuring it and kicking the can down the road a little bit more. So this is what we're looking at now. This is what people are going to, in order for people to continue to buy houses, they need people to buy houses. They need people to have debt. They want that debt on their balance sheet. But nobody can afford it on a 30-year mortgage anymore. So now they're talking 40-year mortgages, and they're basically this, and this is happening. And then they're gonna. I've already seen things for 50-year mortgages where you're talking about just in order to own a home, you're going to be locked into debt for the rest of your life. So here's how much a total interest so last month the FHA approved 40-year mortgage terms to make homes quote unquote more affordable. Here's how much total interest you'd pay on a 400K loan at a 5% interest rate. On a 30-year. You're paying if you bought a house, if you're getting a 400K loan, you're paying basically almost that much in interest over 30 years, which has been that way for quite some time. Now you're paying more than the size. If you do a 40-year loan, you're paying more than the size of the loan just in interest to have a 40-year loan there, kicking the can down the road the American way. So this is a big problem, and this is what we're going to continue to see, where you just can't get out of this trap if they keep doing this over and over and over.
Pecker, yes, we do know the riots are not about BlackRock. No, they had just taken over BlackRock's headquarters.
Just in front of the headquarters. They're about all sorts of stuff in France. I mean,
they'll protest over everything. Yeah.
They raised the retirement age.
Sure. So they moved it up 2 years, 61 to 63, if I'm not mistaken. But they literally will protest like, oh, daylight savings time, we don't get paid for an hour. All right, everybody to the streets, shut down the airplanes.
Yeah.
You know, they will,
French are like that, yeah.
So
not to make a generalization, but
Yeah,
Easy
they
there, Decker.
which I admire. They're much better at protesting than we are.
yeah.
It's a lot of it is due to geological. Everybody's it's a little bit more of an urban population. It's easier to drive. Say you're in Wyoming, you're not driving to D.C. to support Trump or protest Trump, right? But if in a place like France, the majority of people, I don't want to say everybody, majority of people are just going to be like a 2-hour drive or train ride.
Yeah, they're not too far, and yeah, Paris being that center of a lot of financial and trade and all that sort of stuff. So, here's a little bullish news here. This is something that's kind of slept off the radar in a lot of people's minds, I think, with a lot of the other stuff going on. But here's an update. There's a growing expectation amongst agency insiders that Grayscale will get a favorable opinion, aka win, soon at the appellate level.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
That is a weird one. Does that mean like the appeals?
Yeah, it's an appeals court, I believe.
This was pretty interesting. So they're battling the SEC on doing a spot ETF. Now, which could be extremely bullish catalyst for Bitcoin. Actually, either one of these things, in my opinion, is bullish. So here's the twist. Factions at the SEC want to either respond by getting out of the way and allowing a spot Bitcoin ETF to proceed, which would be great because that means they'd actually have to be buying and settling Bitcoin for these large exchange traded funds, which would put huge buying pressure on Bitcoin, which would send the price, it would be very good for the price. Or the SEC goes on the offense and dismantles Bitcoin futures ETFs, because the big debate right now is there's a lot of Bitcoin futures ETFs, meaning an exchange traded fund using paper contracts to bet on the price of Bitcoin, but it doesn't actually require any buying or selling of Bitcoin. That's exactly what we were just talking about with gold earlier in the show. If you had a spot ETF, it would actually require the fund to hold Bitcoin on behalf of its investors, which would be great, because that means of all these billions of dollars in Grayscale right now, they'd have to actually have one-to-one backed Bitcoin for it. Which again would be extremely bullish, rather than just a contract saying that they would under certain scenarios. Also, if they were to dismantle, and the argument is, look, if you're going to allow futures ETFs, there's no logical explanation why you wouldn't allow spot. And the judge is kind of like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. So now they could either say, okay, yeah, sure, we'll allow it because we've already allowed this, or they could go, oh, you're right, we actually shouldn't allow this at all. We're going to shut down the futures ETFs. But if that's the case, it actually makes it Bitcoin futures, being able to buy and sell on the future, or bet on the future price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, is actually part of what makes it much easier for them to control and manipulate the price if you have enough volume, because you can hedge yourself and you can set shorts and longs in a way that basically you have your bases covered either way. So every time, both with Bitcoin and Ethereum, when we saw futures ETFs get launched, everybody was excited that this was going to be a bullish thing, and both times it actually had a pretty bearish, pretty negative effect on the price, because it was a lot more suppressed and it traded into a tighter range. So either getting a spot ETF, bullish; getting rid of future ETFs, in my opinion, also bullish. So it's two very bullish catalysts here for Bitcoin. Could be something that really gives us that like if this comes through now, it takes a couple months to actually work through the paperwork. But if we were to get like a spot Bitcoin ETF in May or June, that could be what pushes us up towards some of those higher levels into the 30s, into the 40s, that some of the more bullish people are calling for. So just something interesting there to keep an eye on. I mean, I feel like Grayscale, Digital Currency Group, Genesis Capital, we're all in the middle of the crypto news cycle at the beginning of this year, and it's kind of faded away. So just wanted to remind you guys about this. That could be extremely bullish. So also, when we're talking SEC, this was another thing that came out this morning. The SEC, they had charged two two employees basically at Coinbase for insider trading. And this was an interesting twist. I don't know if they highlighted it. No, they didn't. But more or less, they're looking to settle these guys. Asan is close to reaching a settlement. Securities.
Yeah, it was the guy, it was employee, it was his brother and a friend, I believe.
It was a couple people. Yeah, him, his brother, and a friend. They front ran something. Is this around Bitcoin
Some
Cash?
alts, and it was like hundreds of thousands, or
Yeah.
maybe, I guess he made, I think I saw 1.1, but yeah, it was the one guy. They were running for a while, right? I think they like all three had different times where they turned themselves in, I believe.
Yeah, and they pleaded guilty. But what's interesting about this is, see, they, like you said, they bought at least 1.1 million in profits. You know, they sought the dismissal of the SEC civil case in February. Siblings argue that the regulator is using brute force to exercise regulatory jurisdiction, which I agree with. And somewhere in here, so this is a John Deaton. This has an interesting take here. It says Hassan's deal with the SEC may involve. So he's thinking the SEC might settle with him on the agreement that he would testify that the tokens listed on Coinbase are securities, which the regulator may use to sue the crypto exchange. So basically what he's saying is they're going to offer these guys, these former Coinbase employees, a deal to get out of these insider trading charges. That way they can, and in order to get them to testify in court that what they were doing was trading unregistered securities illegally, get a deal. And now they've got court documents from Coinbase executive employees that they can go now use against Coinbase and say, oh, you guys knew you were trading unregistered securities, which would be a wild twist, because we know they're about to go to battle with Coinbase.
My question with that is, like, why would you take the word of criminals? Like, just because two criminals said, oh, these are securities, does that make them securities? Like, I don't see that line of thinking.
No,
at
it would
all.
be the judge. It would be the attorney making the argument in court, getting a.
No, he's saying like snitch's testimony shouldn't be worth anything.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just not the way the legal system works.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
if it's under
oath,
it's under oath.
and they would be considered probably an expert witness because they've got experience. They worked at the company. They've got understanding. Now, obviously, they've got incentive to say whatever. Like, it seems bizarre. I agree.
The defense will use these arguments, though.
Yeah. That's exactly the defense's job, is to say, well, of course he's going to say that. You cut him a deal. You gave him less sentence to say that, and so it'll be interesting, because in my mind, the SEC stands no chance against the case they're trying to bring against Coinbase. But things like this, some of these legal tricks and some of these, 4D chess that a lot of these attorneys are playing, could come into play here. So it's something to keep an eye on. So just wanted to share that out. All right. The main event. This is why you guys are all here.
Alts, AI.
We're gonna talk meme coins.
I got a hot one, baby.
Are meme coins more powerful than we thought? Looking at the upper left corner of my Twitter page certainly hints at it. Yeah, you guys can see it. We got Doge sitting up here. Elon Musk related memes exploded 12,000%. Optimus 1,000%. I found a project that could become the main competitor to Optimus. So real quick, before we get too much into this, I will say I want to do some disclaimers here. I do not hold any of this coin. I really don't know a ton about it other than what's in this thread right here. I know you guys know I like Crypto in the Black, or the Hidden Maze. I share his stuff all the time. It's such a low market cap that most likely, even if just like half of you guys in the chat all went and bought it today, it would pump. So do with that as you will. I'm not telling you guys to do that. I don't own any of this, so I'm not trying to get you guys to do that.
And he didn't tell us, and I'm kind of mad. So I have to buy with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We're all in this together. Everybody's gonna be buying. Nobody here knows what it is. I just found this either last night or this morning. I just wanted to really have a talk about meme coins in general. Ben and I were talking about Doge. We were talking about Sheeb last time. We didn't really hold. We bought a little Doge before the Elon Musk SNL thing. Sold it before we went on there. Made a little bit of money, but not what we could have had we thrown.
I copy traded Ben. I was a fan then. It was 2 months before I started working here. And I remember that. It was, you guys were talking about it just as it started to break out around the penny. Yeah. And you guys covered the breakout up to 10 cents. And then it kind of settled at 7. And Ben got in, I believe, under a penny. And I jumped in with you guys. Yeah, we huge gain.
Yeah, we rode it from about a penny to, like you said, 8 or 9 cents, maybe 10 cents, which great gains. But then we took our gains and we didn't really look back, which there's something to be said for that too. We made profit. However, we didn't ride it all the way to 70 cents. We didn't hold any SHIB throughout the entire last market, which obviously made a bunch. Now, I don't think, like I said in the clip about Dogecoin, I think you can make money with these things, but I do not see them as investments. I see them as, gamble, speculation, throwing darts at the wall, maybe something hits. And it's speculation based on such random stuff that sometimes experience in the space helps. And so this guy's speculation, I think it's pretty interesting theory here. He's got memes related to Elon Musk, ignore all logic, crypto TomTom. And the other good thing I like about this guy is he puts a lot of other alpha in his threads. So I'll retweet this one too. So if you guys want to go find these other guys he's talking about, they give you really good stuff. So this is a good place to get alpha on Twitter. But memes related to Elon Musk. So after 2 Elon tweets, SHIB token went from 140 million market cap to 3.8 billion market cap. Doge almost single-handedly carried by Elon Musk. Floki ran straight from 5.5 million to 773 million. And so he's talking about this battle here between Elon and Optimus. So Elon Musk mentioned that their Optimus robots are bigger than the car side of things at Tesla. Let that sink in. The race to build and ship out the first 1 million humanoid robots is on, which that's a whole other topic we could talk about. And guess who Elon Musk's main character in the robot race is? At Sama, which is Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI. He invested in 1X Tech. They're building Neo, the main competitor to Optimus. They raised 23.5 in a Series A2 funding. So can you see how this shapes up for a little battle of giants? Who's going to deliver the next tech first? That shapes the future of humanity more than cars did. I believe that it's an early meme narrative that could have some serious legs. So here you guys can see this is the is it Neo? Yeah, the Neo robot. The Elon Musk versus Sam Altman feud just heats up. OpenAI reveals investment in 1X AI robot Neo. This is direct competition against Elon's Tesla robot. The race is on. So here, I mean, it's looking very Judy from the Jetsons like robot, where they got the wheels and it can do all sorts of stuff. It can pick packages, like no legs, which I don't know. The more robot-y they make them, I don't like it when they're too human. I'll just say that much. I like it better on the wheels than with those weird legs at those.
I agree.
So you'd rather have R2D2 than C3PO?
Yes, 100%.
How fast are the wheels gonna go?
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're gonna be on
100
attack
miles an
mode.
hour. They'll be like running your car down for you.
Yo.
So here we go. Neo AI token is the first meme coin that aims to capture this narrative early. Unlike Optimus that already exists at $29 million market cap, Neo is at 400K after its initial release up to 2 million. So it ran up to 2 million, pulled all the way back to 400K. Community of Neo is young as it just started out. Doing some research on meme tokens proves to be difficult as none of them adhere to most of the standards I apply to regular projects, but there are certain things you can measure. Example, strength of the narrative, community and social metric growth, partnerships, interest of key opinion leaders, tokenomics. So there's tokenomics you always want to look at, partnerships. So this is like interest of key opinion leaders. Who's going to talk about this? Would Sam Altman make a joke about it? Would Elon talk about it? Some crypto personalities are aware of this emerging Elon versus Sam Altman, Optimus versus Neo narrative, and then he gives a link of a bunch of other people talking about it. So here's the tokenomics. Let's see, taxes, buy, sell. So there's a sell tax of 5% on it. There's a tax distribution, 3% utility development, 1% marketing, 1 trillion total supplies, only 73K in liquidity. So that's something very important to keep an eye on. Plenty of meme coins you can buy, become extremely rich, and never be able to sell because there's no liquidity. So, that's truly what a rug pull is. If you guys don't know, like a rug pull really is when a project pulls all the liquidity. It's not when a project just crashes. It's when you literally can't sell anything because there is, for any price, even if you wanted to sell it for next to nothing, because there's no liquidity. And there's only 656 holders. So this is about as new as it gets. Roadmap divided into 4 phases. Stealth launch on the Ethereum network, social media release, cultivated community.
It's on CoinMarketCap.
It is on
What's the
CoinMarketCap.
ticker?
Yeah, let's pull it.
NEO.
NEO.
Neo, right?
That's it.
I use the Twitter link to CoinMarketCap.
True.
And then I would do that to get if I were to buy, I'm not saying I will, I'm going to. I would then go to CoinMarket. I would use the official Twitter's link. You go down maybe 10, 20 tweets. You'll see Neo. I'm sorry. You'll see the Neo link on CoinMarketCap. Yeah, go to their official
page, and
then I'll say it's right below there's a couple price charts. Below that, you'll see you keep going, you'll see a white price chart after the black ones.
This one?
Yeah, keep going. We're getting close, baby. We're getting close. Oh, right below there. I think that's it.
CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, CoinMarketCap. Boom. I would then use that to copy paste the contract address.
That's right here
on Ethereum, and then I would probably go to Uniswap after checking liquidity, and
that's a lot of zeros. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros.
I should be buying
Outside
mine first, but you know what? DZ's for the people.
So there you go. That's where it sits right now. Like I said, this is extremely tiny coin. Look, DZ's degenning.
Wait.
I'm about to open my MetaMask app. I don't know what for.
Chemistry Bro says, I'm on Uniswap buying some right now. Haha.
Dang
Nan
it.
Swig, Nan Swig. That's hilarious.
It was funny.
What's
The
the
second
Twitter at?
TJ, the second you said it, DZ immediately picked up his
Oh, I
phone.
saw.
And I was like, there he goes.
Yeah,
I'm a
it does
degen.
say market cap fully diluted. Yeah, it does say pushing 800 million now, so it is up a little bit from the time of this thread. Probably went not even a. Yeah, that guys don't. There's a trillion supply, so not even a penny. So much room to grow. Like, don't get too. And now this is self-reported circulating supply. So again, all of this stuff. Oh, hold on. Let me pull this in a little bit. Oh no.
You want me to pull the
No,
box?
yeah, pull me down. Yeah, there you go.
There you
So
go.
you can see self-reported supply there. So a lot of this is unconfirmed. This is again extremely degenerate. Not suggesting you guys go out and buy it. I really wanted to talk about meme, and we can just come to the wide shot here. The meme coin thing in general. So we are looking here at Bitboy Crypto to the just the general. I'm cleaning
sorry,
this stuff up. We are looking at putting together what we're calling a casino portfolio, where we're putting all meme coins in it. We're just going to put a little bit of money into all of them and then forget about it. And hopefully it blows up in the bull market. And if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. We weren't looking to long-term invest in it anyway, but hopefully they do pump. You pull the profits out as soon as you can and move it into something you're looking to build higher targets in. So that's why I'm looking at meme coins right now. It just kind of came up, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I think in some way, like, and I want to ask kind of all you guys' opinion on this too. Like, what is it net? Was it you and I talking about this the other day? Do you think meme coins net positive or net negative? For
Net
crypto?
positive.
Net positive. Okay, why?
Two things. One, fun, and two, on-ramping. So the
Yeah.
fun thing, if you go in with the right mindset, I think it's a great thing. I would look at it as the same mindset, not so much gambling, because I think the odds are probably a little bit better with a little research. I would put it more about, it's like a carnival. You know, it's not a positive ROI sometimes to get the big teddy bear, but you just want to have a good time. I would look at meme coins the same way. Sometimes in crypto, you want to be a degen, you want to have a good time, and you kind of want to risk it all. You kind of want to, I'm just going to go YOLO with this $200. And if I wake up tomorrow and it's down to $20, that's a huge dopamine hit, just like if it doubles and goes to $400. And so we would never suggest sell all your Bitcoin, sell all your Ethereum and do this. But it's fun to spend a couple $100. And to me, the ROI is a lot better than going to Vegas and betting it on black.
Yeah.
Oh, and then community, it's a huge onboarding opportunity. The first time I really felt that I noticed that is when I moved from Texas to Atlanta to work at Hit Network. It was right around the Doge stuff, speaking of, timeline, and I was changing my insurance, my car insurance, just to make sure everything was going to be good as I traveled across state lines. And they're like, oh, why are you moving? I said, well, I'm going to go work for this crypto company. And they turned like, oh, yeah, he bought Doge, and he's trying to get us all to buy Doge. And Doge was the on-ramp for this office of car insurance salesman. And so I think it's a good on-ramp. I think Doge... There's periods where Doge on-ramps more people than Bitcoin, and that is a positive thing.
Hear me. I was one of them.
Yeah. I was gonna ask
Shout
you
out
what,
Elon.
Yeah. What do you think about meme? So you bought Doge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the SNL time, which that's a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
But you learn from experience. Take action.
Yeah. What do you think, Decker? Meme coins? You like them? Don't like them?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I really to hit on exactly what DZ said. They're fun. They're cool. They get people into the game. That's exactly what my roommates in Nebraska asked me about the day that Doge pumped was, shoot, I should have bought more Doge, because they were like, they saw it and that's the only thing they wanted to buy because they thought it was funny. And so they bought Dogecoin, and they actually made a couple $100 on Dogecoin. And I'm, and meanwhile, because I was telling them about ETH and doing all their, other crypto stuff with them. But yeah, I think it's net positive. I think, got to be careful. I have my kind of degen amount that I put into my degen projects that I like, and it's not nearly as much as I have in crypto or in Bitcoin, or keep it realistic. Don't bet the rent on it, and but don't be afraid of them. So
I think it's marketing. It is fun, like you said. Like the portfolio would just be fun to watch. It's more fun than throwing money away on something that's not going to.
Great point. If I had a portfolio and it was 80% Bitcoin, 15% ETH, and 5% ADA, I would not want to open CoinGecko app ever. It would be boring. Oh, it moved 2%. No, I want to throw some meme coins in there, and I want to see, my list of coins. I want to see double digits every now and then, even if it's red, baby, because I'm a degen.
That's right. Well, that's right. We all are degens here. We're all looking. We like the volatility. Like we're signed up for. We're here for this pain sometimes, but I think I like what all of you all said, fun, which I think is a really good thing to keep in mind. Keeping the spirit of crypto within this space, I think, is really important, especially as we're moving through the next phases of cycles when it comes to institutional and sovereign. I mean, we're in a serious space. We're talking money. We're talking investing. Obviously, people take money very seriously because it pertains to them in their life. But not taking it so seriously, I think, is part of being successful with it. I mean, Chemistry Bro says, man, SafeMoon gave me a 20x, even though it was a complete scam. Memes are great, haha. So it's like, even if you know something like, hey, this thing's a scam, most people are going to get wrecked on this thing. I know that. Most of the people buying it don't know that. So if I can get in now, take those profits, it's like taking money away from the bad guys and putting it in the good guys' hand. And hopefully you can redisperse it back out to more good guys. But yeah, I think YOLOing into stuff, taking shots on stuff, not overthinking it, not making it purely mathematically based is a fun way if you're talking about speculating on crypto, because that's what we're doing. Now, storing value, debating a Bitcoin maxi, you're probably not shilling them Doge or, AI crypto Neo or whatever the heck I just talked about, whatever it was. What was it? Neo. It was Neo. But what was
Neo.
I know I just lost it. The name of the project.
Neo AI.
It was AI Neo token, I think. Yeah. Or token.
Neo AI token.
Neo AI token. All right, there we go. We already forgot. See, that's what you should do with
That's
crypto.
how you should feel about all your crypto.
Buy it, totally forget about it. I'm like, oh shoot, what is this thing that just made a crap ton of money?
Oh, I didn't right click save the token.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't know where it's at.
All right, so and shout out to you guys for smashing those like buttons. We have almost 600 people in the chat right now, so really appreciate you. We should hit that like goal.
While we're talking about memes, I do want to say people spamming SOV. I'm looking, hey, just watch that one carefully. That thing could dump. But that being said, I haven't sold
Sovereign,
any.
right?
I haven't
Is that what
sold
you're
any
talking
yet.
No.
Actually, it's actually
Sheep
down 20%
Original
on the day.
Vision.
SOV. SOV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys crack me up with their names, man. It's so good.
Yeah, it's spun out because of Ben. I think you knew that story, right? Yeah.
So last thing I wanted to hit here, and let us know in the chat if you've bought a meme coin, let us know which meme coin it was, or in the comments. If you've made a lot of money with a meme coin, tell us how much you made. If you've lost a lot, or if you're way down, tell us how much you're down. I want to know both chat and comments, and I'll look through those when we can. Last thing we're gonna hit before wrapping up today. This is one of the reasons I like crypto, Donald. And look at this, November 2020. November. The other one we were talking about, November was 21. That was the peak. So November 22 was the bottom. What buy were we talking about? So last time somebody bought, you were saying, so Bukele literally bought the top November 2021. If he was saying they were doing,
No, he was saying 2022.
He
Yeah,
did say 22?
that was in 22, so he
Okay,
bought the
so
bottom.
there's
Yeah,
literally
we
the
were
bottom.
right when we said that.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. I couldn't remember if it was 21 or 2.
Nope.
But so this is one of my favorite things that he does. He'll tweet a chart and then he'll come back and update as time goes on. So he tweeted this out basically, and this is part of, I think I even talked about it on the show. This is part of what started switching me from thinking we had more low to thinking like, look, time-wise, the cycle's bottomed out. A lot of the people that I respect on a TA level are saying it looks bottom. So this is basically on November 16th, Donald was saying, seems reasonable to buy here, willing to lose the investment to gain more than a 5X. Think the 5X is actually more likely than losing it all. Basically saying, so at these levels around 16.5, let's see if we can see the number on the chart here. Yeah, 16.521, basically, which is literally Pico bottom for most people. So he still finished buying and can buy lower if need be, but this is the idea. Basically, so at this point, he said he's put most of his capital in. If it goes to 10 or 12K, I can put more in, but I feel pretty good at this level that I'm going to at least hit a 5X more likely than go to 0. And then he gives an update, kind of updates the levels. Here's January 14th, boom, nice big fat candle. We all know we went up a lot in January. So this was just, you can see the candles develop here. That is the FTX dump right there. I think these are monthly candles that he's looking at. Let's see if it's on here.
I think so. If you go down to the bottom,
Yeah,
it looks
monthly.
like
Yeah, it's a
12
1 month,
between
yeah.
years.
It's a monthly candle. So you can boom. That is the December dump or the rest of the November dump. Basically updates. Big fatty in January. Another update. We're sitting right here that you could call that a monthly bull flag almost. And then another update. This was March 14th. Okay, still green. Moved up my stop to 20K, so he's in a longer position. And now here, as of April 5th, boom, we had another big candle. So this is just, he's just updating this along the way, and you can kind of see. I like doing it because you can see from his levels the entire time. He's basically he's got us going, you know, and I think that's around 70K if you 5x from 16.
Don't laugh at my FTT.
What?
I love that.
I didn't
comment.
dump my FTT in time. And then it was so crazy volatile those days in November. Gas fees, it was like, honestly, it was like, I'm going to clear $20. I'd rather just hold the FTT. So
Yeah, so
I
it
had
looks
4.
beautiful.
I bought 4 at $25 for $100 worth, and now I have 4
that
at
one
like
was an
$5.
L. Yeah, they're sitting here looking at my
You
wallet because
said-
I bought the SO.
I see DZ's transaction for Neo on Etherscan. Haha, I love blockchain. That, talk about fun. That's just another element. Like, even for meme coins, you can see people going in their transactions.
There's
for
some
meme coins.
loser meme coins. I put 0.1 into gay fish, and then like it was the South
You
Park
would.
reference, and then like 2 days later it was like 0.2. So man, I'm gonna sit on it. I looked at it 2 days ago, and like I can't even get 1%. They were like 0.1 to less than 0.01.
So, all right. So that looks like his price target there for Bitcoin, according to this chart, was coming in around 82,500, just the 5x from that 16.5. But anyway, I just like it when people do that and they come back and update their take. So he's holding strong to the thing. He's, you know, his theory from November 16th has remained unchanged. You know, can you imagine having now he trades with size too. So I imagine he's got a pretty sizable, probably low leverage, probably 2 to 5x from literally the bottom that he's just riding all the way out and just going to be printing money.
That's awesome.
So anyway, that's all we have time for today, guys. Love hanging out with you guys in the basement. Oh, also Danny Carney was saying, DZ making fun of Carneys. I don't know if Carney is literally your last name or if you are a Carney, but
love
hey,
Carneys.
everybody, if you got talents, we love you here. It doesn't matter what they are. So Georgia Redfish, Gary Gugglers, Cryptos, DJ Flexa, Ballin, Mike Vollmer, Ray Love, Danny Carney, Jason Mueller, Ballin V, Snagapus, Chemistry Bro, Big Hands Dan, The Matrix, Manowalk, Jen Jones, Dodd Slave, Covert 3-4TRs, Razmataz, White Rabbit, Christino Doggy, Corey Harden, Mr. Techno Goody, Chemistry Bro. We love all of you guys. Have a happy Thursday. Buy that Bitcoin, save some gold, store everything up. We'll see you guys again soon. Basement out.